All right. All right. So guys, so I got a confession to make. So the morning of graduation, so the day after we actually met here in this room, we were brainstorming about PE talks and whatnot. I was laying in my bed, and my eyes are at the ceiling, and I was thinking about my balls. So the ones in physical education, like the gym balls, those balls. Now, of course, there's all different kinds of balls, right? There's volleyballs, basketballs, baseballs, tennis balls, golf balls, pickleballs, and gator skin balls. And all these balls come in different shapes and sizes, right? Some are big and puffy, some are small and dainty, some are deflated, some are oblong. Sure, we've seen a lot of those. And they all come from different size companies, right? Some are big, rich, and powerful. Some are small, poor, and struggling. Now, as I was getting ready for my day and graduation, texting my friends and family, my girlfriend, eating my breakfast, checking out ESPN, my mind trickled back to my balls. And now I was asking myself, what is going to be my learning objectives for my balls? Now, of course, I want to get my balls to be the best looking balls in school, the healthiest, mightiest, strongest, and the sure fit, right? Now, I could do so by the way I differentiate, the way I organize the balls in the equipment room. I could do so by designing lessons that incorporate cooperative learning activities, or I could do so by providing positive feedback, correcting correct behavior, good behavior. Now, of course, this is all to ensure a positive learning experience that will make them good citizens and responsible, collaborative, problem-solving, critical thinkers. So by now, if you haven't made the connection, the balls of my story are my students. And my students mean everything to me. They really do. The time since I started student teaching in late August until this afternoon and until the beginning of June, I've worked with a lot of different kinds of students. Some young, kind of young and really young, some mature and mature, some rich and poor, urban, suburban, quiet, thrilled, and skilled and very unskilled. So what this all comes down to is a question I ask myself a lot. It's, what do I want to do to provide my students a memorable experience in physical activity, physical education? Because God knows, gosh knows, I did not have that when I was a student. What I had was a lot of physical assessments, the sit-up test, the push-up test, the pull-up test, the mile run. And there are traditional sports like basketball, baseball, tennis, football. And there was that awkward unit on swimming, where you're going through puberty and you're submerged underwater and you're kind of clothed in the gym uniforms. And there was that other random unit on bocce ball. But there was no yoga to be done, no hiking outdoors, no skate parks to be ventured on. So what this all comes down to is I want to provide my students a memorable experience. Now, how cool would that be if I said, hey, Mr. Monitor, that dogward down pose that we did in yoga class? Not only is that a cool pose, but if you do it correctly, I can tell you that it increases your upper body strength, which will increase your bone density, which is important, especially for Mrs. Monitor, because since she's a female, and the older she gets, there's more of a likelihood that she'll have a decrease of bone density. Her opportunity to develop osteoporosis will be diminished. But she has to also drink her milk, take her vitamin D, all right? So that's what I want to provide my students. Some information and the knowledge and opportunities to apply and discover something that can propel them to live an active life. Now, of course, I don't need them to be the next LeBron James or Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter, etc., or even the next JV softball player, but just to get them engaged in physical activity to interest them for the future. So when I go back tomorrow teaching, I'm going to teach and go to the equipment room, get my balls, get my volleyballs and soccer balls and tennis balls, and I'm going to pick up and cherish them. Because similar to my students, if I don't give them enough time, attention, and affection that they need and deserve, they're not going to perform well. So, as I move forward in my career as a physical educator, I'm going to grasp my balls real tight and lift them up. And I'm going to grasp my students with words of encouragement, wisdom, and respect, and begin to pump them up. Thanks.